Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
All right, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
We get to meet Jasmit Tibb and Jasmit Tibb. Now, this may sound like a Punjabi film, because it is. They're the people who created the greatest concept since air conditioning, the Frankie. Find out about the birth of the Frankie, how the legend grew, where it is today, and how you can get it delivered to your doorstep in many different flavors.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Yes, and I want to thank everybody for giving us a great Ganpati Visarjan. What a wonderful time it was here on Cyrus Says. Just love the fact that on a Friday morning at 6:30, you have to spend 45 minutes on Marine Drive waiting just to pass a 2-kilometer stretch. Yes, 6:30 in the morning. What a wonderful place it is to be. Growing up in South Mumbai during festivals. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, on Cyrus Says, we are going to meet the Tibb family, or at least some members of the famous Tibb family. And before we get into that, let me just quickly explain the greatness of this family. And I rarely say this, because I'm a big fan of a few people. I like Viv Richards, the cricketer. If I met him, if I meet Virat Kohli, I don't feel so great. He's younger than me, and, he's a great cricketer, but I don't feel that. Viv Richards, huge thing for me. So growing up in Mumbai, I loved the Frankie. I absolutely love the Frankie. And for people listening, the Frankie is an experience that you have to have once in your life at least to understand what it's all about. And the Frankie has survived the onslaught of MNCs, pizzas, dosas, South Indian snacks, Maharashtrian snacks, North Indian snacks, all this and more. And how has it survived? And in fact, in the morning when I told people I'm coming to meet members of the Tibb family who brought the Frankie out, they all were like, oh, wow. It was amazing, just the reaction. I'm sure you get it a lot, guys, wherever you go. Because the Frankie, it has that worth. And you can't do anything about that. Once you have that worth, you're just lucky in a sense, honestly. So we're going to talk about your story. But first, let's meet you. Jasmit Singh Tibb is CEO of the world-renowned Tibb's Frankie, a name that has become synonymous with the dish. And he's worth millions of dollars, but he won't want to discuss that. He's told me 3 times. And his son, Harmeet, who is the next generation and is going to take it further and probably globalize it even more, take it to Mars where it should go as well, because the taste is universal. I'm a firm believer that Frankie everyone will like. You could tone up the spice or tone down the spice depending on Western palates, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a quick meal, man. Where in this time that we live in, you can eat in 5 minutes or maybe 7 minutes, you can have 2 Frankies. I mean, who can do better than that? And it's a great experience. So in sexual terms, I would like to put it this way. Just kidding, beta. Aapke samne kuch nahi bol sakte. Sharam kyun aate hai? Don't worry. Your dad and me discussed that we will not discuss anything dirty. Having said that, he sent you to Amsterdam to study.
Yeah.
Harmeet, tell us what's happening there. How are you in Amsterdam?
Well, it's a kind of, since you grew up in a family that's so hospitality-based, you end up in that field, of course, because you consider that to be such an inspiration. So since childhood, I wanted to study hospitality. So then I said, all right, US getting too overcrowded. So let's choose the other route. So then I ended up in Amsterdam studying hospitality at hotel school. Best decision so far. Still going strong. Not giving up hope yet. So
don't give up hope. Look at the guy acting like he's struggling. He's in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It's not like they sent you to Dhaka and said, now figure out how to sell Frankies here. No disrespect to Bangladesh. Could be a very important market at some point. Let's rewind and start at the beginning, because somewhere deep in the Punjab, I think there was a dream 2-3 generations ago, maybe 2 generations ago at least, to invent this food. Let's talk about the invention. I again want to explain what it is, Jasmit, if you can, to people who don't know, and there are very few people like that, but there are foreign people listening to this as well. So what exactly, how do you describe it?
Well, first of all, hi to everybody.
Oh, everybody, hum dono hai, that's about it.
But I said, jo bhi sun raha hai, yaar, usko hello to bole na.
Theek hai.
Okay, so Tibb's Frankie is basically an experience, like you said, but if you go technically in the food terms, it's basically a roti roll in naan.
Yeah, so it's
different stuffings in naan. The original 4 flavors were the mutton Frankie, the chicken Frankie, the veg and the cheese.
Right.
Now we have 21 flavors.
Yeah, because the people are demanding more and more things.
Yes, and we got to evolve with time. Eh?
But I love my mutton Frankie. The moment you see it, I start salivating.
I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there.
It's my favorite.
And the thing is, they always run out of mutton sometimes. I get very upset because demand is always more than supply. That's how big you guys are.
Yes.
It very rarely happens. Everybody else has to throw their food out.
Yeah, exactly. But we are so strict about the quality that we only take the best.
Yeah.
So in this country, there's only as much lamb you can get.
Okay, that's not good. Peter will call. Let's go back to the whole idea, because I think the concept, where did it originate? Whose idea was it?
Well, just to correct you, this idea didn't come up in Punjab. It came up in London.
What are you saying?
Yeah, my dad was there.
Oh.
My dad was in London. He started an electronic company with a gentleman who's quite popular now, but I don't want to get into that. We can't reduce. No,
come on, we can Google him.
No, that's fine. So, as fate would have it, at that time he felt backstabbed, and he said that, look, I cannot handle this. And he said there was emotional pressure from my grandfather. They fell out, and then he was on his way back from London to India. He stopped at Beirut.
Which at that time apparently was a very happening place, nightclubs.
Yes, I'm told.
Youngsters won't understand. Harmeet will have no idea about this.
Well, see, that's the question I've asked.
Apna zamana mein, we had friends in Beirut.
Well, that's the question I asked Dad, what were you doing in Beirut? But the answer
Travel agent.
So Dad says he saw the shawarma there.
Ah.
And just to clear the air, Dad was not was from the food background. He was a pharmacist.
Huh.
So he saw the shawarma and he said that, this is interesting. Then he came back to Mumbai and slept over the idea. And then he started first with refined salt, which now you do Tata Namak, which is refined, free-flowing. That was Dad's concept, and he has Tibb salt that time.
So it was a salt thing first?
First it was just a salt factory he started, and he did well. But then he was he had food on the palate, he just had to do something. So he and Mom got together on the weekends and they said, let's try it. So they tried different variations and stuff like that. Cut a long story short, they developed, after I think 6 months of R&D, they developed a paratha roll. Where Mom made the mutton gravy and Dad used to pull the mutton off and leave the bones and exercise that, and then have the gravy and then put it and then roll it up. And he liked it, but he said, this is still not perfect. So another 6 months went. Then they perfected the recipe. And then they started it. They wanted to do R&D, so they took it to Vihar Lake. At that time...
Vihar Lake is in
Sakinaka.
Okay.
Andheri.
In Mumbai, huh?
In Mumbai, sorry. In Mumbai, Andheri.
So even Beirut last. The people listening will be like, oh, Vihar Lake kahan hai Beirut mein? Lebanon, Algeria.
Okay, so they took it to Vihar Lake in Mumbai, India. And there they, that time...
They packaged it?
They didn't package. They used to take it like in...
so you would get like basically a roti roll?
There was rotis taken in a casserole, if you please, and there was a...
Hand salad, literally.
Handi taken with the gravy and one. And then, there was homegrown ventures were the flavor of the year that time. I'm talking 1969 or 68.
Why did he take the number 69, beta? I don't understand.
Still a question.
Sorry.
Stay out of it.
Sorry. No disrespect. So that time it really did well. People used to come from far and wide and have the thing. And then one day, Mum being the pillar of the Tibb family that she was shopping at Khushru Bagh, and Kulaba was
Khushru Bagh.
Kulaba was as Kulaba is in Mumbai again.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
So I'm going to go.
Jahan pe ek baar parking milta tha, but now no.
Yes. So there she saw this Aga brothers, my first, and then she told my dad.
What memories, yaar. For me growing up, huh?
Yeah. So Dad, at that time, I think it was 1970, and that's the time he put up a small table there, and he started doing the rolls there. While he was doing that, there was an offer to sell. There used to be an India-West Indies match going on in 1971 in 70, in Brabant.
Correct.
So he sold the rolls there, and this would sell out every day. And that time he had some friends sitting with him in office, and they said that, what do we call it? At that time there was a gentleman, Sir Frank Worrell, who used to play.
Frank Worrell, West Indies cricket. Oh, that's the reason. What are you saying?
So he used to play really well, I believe.
Yeah. And he was the first black captain of West Indies. That's the really famous thing, yeah.
So that's the time he hit a shot and somebody said, well played, Frankie, and that picked the word Frankie. And that's
Frankie sounds very Punjabi also, actually. It's one of the typical Punjabi sounding pet names. So I thought maybe it's somebody in the family.
No, Frankie is never a Punjabi son.
But Larry, Vicky, Frankie to ho sakta hai na. Happy to hai.
Yeah, Happy is always there.
I think Harmeet is from another generation. He's wondering what we're talking about here. I've never taken him back to the kid.
As long as it ends with an EET, it's Punjabi.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, yeah.
So that's how Frankie was Christian. And
wow, what a story.
And Dad was smart enough to trademark it 40 years ago.
Yeah,
so the word Frankie...
And you all spell it. Let's get this right also, because I've seen when competitors have tried, as they always do when something is successful, you've kept the Frankie.
Yes.
And all us food lovers of Frankie know that.
Yes.
We always check it. Frankie, the packaging is very distinct.
Yes.
And it's remained the same.
Yes. We've evolved the packaging a bit now.
Yeah.
Which you would try now.
In Regal, I've seen there's a different sort of
Yes,
packaging.
yes.
And the one from Bridge Candy, which is the old one, is a
Yes.
different packaging.
We actually evolved it for the IPL. The first IPL when we catered.
Oh,
we catered
okay.
for the IPL.
All right.
And that's when we evolved it. I designed the new packing. It was like a twist and pull.
Wow.
So just evolved over the period of times. But yes, that's the time. And
But going back, you think your dad had any idea what a success it would be? I mean,
honestly, he knew that the taste is bang on. But since he was not from the food industry, his vision was that, okay, everybody in Mumbai will eat Frankie's one day. And during his time, they did.
but
So,
it's amazing. I don't know, Harmeet, if you're aware of this also,
Yeah.
because you're a young guy. I don't want to disrespect you at all. But that it's an iconic part of our culture in Mumbai. There's not a single Mumbai girl who doesn't know what a Frankie is. I mean, it's such a huge thing. It's not a small thing. It's like Bhelpuri. You know, it's huge. And again, I'm saying this at the risk of sounding like a fan. When we discuss it, you guys are coming. We're also happy. And a lot of times you have to pretend to be happy about the guest. You know, Naya Gana, oh great, tell us about the song. Naya film, oh very, very interesting, tell us about the film. But here we are all so happy because I think you've given us so much pleasure. So it's almost like a relative of ours who's helped us along the years. And I'm thinking of school and college. The price is also affordable. So, you know, these are the things you can afford. You're sitting there with your girlfriend in the rain. You go and buy a Frankie, you share it.
I
It's huge.
studied in a Parsi school in Maniji Cooper.
I hope you learned something.
Yes.
Oh, and the legacy continued to me.
So you've got two half brothers, Parsi.
Yes,
Just be
yes.
careful.
Trust me, man. I consider all the Parsi my brothers. So we used to play these cricket matches. You're talking affordabilities.
Correct.
So regardless of winning or losing, I had to treat people for a Frankie.
Wow.
So, you know.
That's a great to have
That's
the
a great
Frankie
thing.
owner
Yeah.
in your class, man. You'd be my friend for life. What are you talking about? And if I was the umpire in those cricket matches, you'd be never out. Clean ball, kaisa clean ball? Hawa se ho gaya? Yeah, what a story. Yeah. Really fantastic.
It's nice. Like growing up, I think that since I went to the same school as Dad, so like you had Frankies on weekends and on the weekdays, and then occasionally you would have like my favorite thing, that's dhansak with lemon. That's like
They pay you back with one dhansak once every 6 months for all
I've
the...
been working 6 years to have a chicken farcha Frankie.
Oh yeah.
I just can't do it.
Well, it doesn't work?
It works, but I'm a
Because it's
person
slightly crunchy.
bring from IHM. I did my IHM from Dada Catering. And I'm a chef as well. So for me, I don't like to play with the authenticity of a product.
Yeah, see, I agree with you because here now we're talking food, sir.
Yeah.
But the farcha, I don't like to eat with any roti.
Yes.
It's one of those things which I eat alone. I suppose that's the problem.
That's the problem we have kept.
But otherwise, the idea sounds good to me. But having said that, you know, the mutton, the chicken, the egg and the veg, Frankie, the four originals, are all super hits.
Yes.
You're
But
depending on-
now we've got the other flavors, which is the tawa chicken tikka. We've got the tawa chicken. We've got the tawa paneer. We've got Chinese flavors. And now we launched something with whole wheat as well, which is, chicken tikka with salad and a light mayo. And we call that, a tandoori tarka. So we're launching, different kind of Frankies to cater to different people's needs.
But just tell me one thing. What do you think is the reason it survived and is growing still, generation after generation, with the kind of advertising and power that these other MNCs like a McDonald's, Domino's, and the smaller pizza chains who come in the local area and push really hard, all these guys are there, but Frankie has survived. Can it be taste alone?
See, I'll tell you, Cyrus, when I was growing up, and obviously, I was the youngest of 6 siblings. So I had a huge age gap with my dad. And I kept asking him why we're not advertising. He said, okay, for your sake, just advertise a bit and all that.
So you were one of the younger kids?
I'm the youngest.
The youngest?
The youngest. I've got an older brother.
And only you are in the business?
No, my older brother, Mr. Jasmit Tibb. He handles Bombay. He handles the Bombay sales. I handle the production. And I handle national and international. So, Charanjit has been in the business longer than I am. So he made some changes earlier. Then I came out of catering college. I helped him make the changes. Now both the brothers are together. We work
So
together.
you're the young guy who comes out of the college saying, I want to make some changes, do something new.
As soon as I said that, my dad said, shut up and
Get
sit."
out.
You're a typical Panju family. You
absolutely,
come and say, Dad, yaar, mainu act karna, I want to do this, I want to do that. He said, get out.
50
Then
point
you
presentation.
Yeah, he says you first learn how to sweep the floor of the factory.
Yeah.
Then you come to me and he says, so he put me through the grind. So first, let me get back to your question, that why have we been where we are? Because Dad always believed, and both the brothers, we both believe that we like to keep it simple. We like to keep it very simple. Dad said, in India, food is religion. Don't play with the palates. So we don't play with the palates. There's no gimmick.
What do you mean by don't play with the palates? You don't change what we like as
don't
communities.
Change what works.
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel to that extent
that
you feel like an alien. See, you follow the original. It's like a vada pav. I mean, I would never not want to go to I studied from Mithibai for 2
So
years.
you had to eat it on the...
Yeah, I have to go there.
Whether we like it or not.
Mithibai, Vada Pav and all that. I mean, some people don't like me and then Mr. Tibb, you can't go there and have. I said, what the hell, man? I mean, I can. So you have to be authentic and you have to be original. With Tibbs Frankie, we kept the palate, the taste, very similar to what it's been when Dad started. The lamb Frankie, the mutton Frankie tastes the same what Dad started.
See, this is the question. Sorry to interrupt. The big question I want to ask all the time about Indian food.
Yeah.
It looks like a simple product. At the end of the day, there's roti, there's kanda, there's chili, and there's some sort of gravy, and there's whatever meat or paneer or whatever you want.
There's the secret is the Tibbs Frankie masala which goes on top.
That's what, because we've tried it at home. I'm sure everyone has tried it at home because your mom will say, "Yeah, मैं भी बना सकता हूँ."
Cyrus, आप मेरे पेट पे लात मत मारो.
No, I'm just saying, and nobody's been able to do it. Whether it's a simple sandwich from the road, the bhel puri, or the vada pav that you mentioned, or Frankie, the super success, no one can duplicate it.
See, we have obviously the family secret, the Frankie masala.
Have you told him?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet. You have to work hard, huh, beta? Now enjoy Amsterdam. We'll tell you when your time will come.
So it's only my brother and myself who know it.
So is that it? You think it's just the masala? That's the difference?
It's just the masala which actually standardizes a lot of things. And secondly, it's the way we cook it. You know, the way we have our standard recipes, the way we try to standardize, in fact, all India now. I mean, all over India, we standardize the recipe.
I think it's fantastic. I think that was the very important part, was that it remained the same.
Yeah.
If you try to tweak it in the early days especially, I think it would have been a problem. But it just remained the same, and generation after generation enjoying the same Frankie, which my father had. Now I have it, now my kids.
Exactly.
My daughter is crazy about it. Whenever I'm going via beach candy, I have to pick it up. As a law, otherwise she said, "Daddy, I know you went, came from
I really feel blessed to be,
part of the family. I think if you can promote food, it's like NGO work, In many ways, it's like social work. You're really helping people. And let's not forget, it's still a very affordable meal.
Oh, yeah.
End of the day, it's a full meal. You can literally eat in a few minutes. And I think that's another thing people don't understand, that people are in a hurry all the time. And the Frankie really saves you.
Yeah, it's food on the go. It's a complete meal.
Yeah.
Or
bhai, सबसे important cheese. When you are young, going on a date, the Frankie was great because 1 by 2, even 2 by 2 was not the worst bill ever.
Oh, yeah.
Just think of anything else as an option. Otherwise, it has to be some vegetarian thing like vada pav and all. Which is, now, come on, you're bringing the girl down. She's having that every day outside. You have to give her something.
Exactly.
Frankie still has that something, and yet it's affordable.
It's very yuppie. When I say it caters to the yuppie audience.
And in case the girl leaves, you still have the Frankie.
Well, there's a reason why I was
Most
born.
important. Yeah.
That's how I met his mum.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My wife's a South Indian.
What are you saying? Where do you meet her?
In Mithibai.
Over what? Vada pav?
Okay. No, I used to represent Maharashtra and Shortput.
What are you saying?
Yeah, and then, fortunately, I did well academically as well. So I was getting the best student. And that's where I met the love of my life.
The best student means as well as short put. I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
either you're good at short put or you're good at studies.
I don't know, man. I don't know what happened.
Something in the sauce, yeah. Something in the sauce.
Something in the masala.
What an interesting love story. Let's go to that. Two states, Chetan Bhagat moment here.
Yeah, exactly.
So how, was that acceptable? I mean, I'm thinking back to the 70s, 80s.
Totally not.
You're in a Parsi school. You've got a South Indian girlfriend. You come back home. I mean, how many Frankies will they need to eat to digest that?
I mean, I came... The day I got into catering college, that's the first time I said to my wife to be that, okay, now, I think no matter what, we get married, So when you're confident of earning your own living, and then you're fine. But I remember coming home one day after my third year of catering college and telling my dad and my mom that, listen, I have a South Indian girlfriend. And they would look at me and they said, beta sare do diya, kuch kha le.
Yeah.
Because they thought I'm overworked.
Right.
So then I came back and I told them again, and they said, nothing doing. They said, this cannot happen. And, the typical
usual.
Not in filmy stuff.
Both sides gave trouble?
No. My wife's side they're very chilled out.
Better, huh?
They're very chilled out. So they were okay with it. And then it took time. My sisters interfered, my older brother interfered. They said, nothing doing. Let Jazz have his way. She's a nice girl. And God blessed, and we got married.
Over many Frankies, and many stalls.
Yes.
We won't mention how many franchise and whatever you want to call it, stalls there are across, but slowly the good outnumber the bad, and you got married.
Yes.
And the product is here. The
Exactly.
latest in the Frankie line.
How many times they got a half Punjabi, half South Indian?
I know a couple, but I don't know any who own Frankie. That's more important than the background.
So we are blessed with Harmeet, and we have the love of all three is life. Our daughter,
the big boss.
The big boss. She's 12.
Is she also involved in the food thing?
You won't believe it. This is spooky that I lost dad and mom both here.
Oh, sorry.
So when Gehenna was born, Gehenna's 12 now. When Gehenna was born, dad passed away in 2 months.
Oh.
Gehenna is exactly like my father. She's the
That's
same.
What they say, when that happens.
She's the same zodiac. She's number 8.
The soul goes from one to
everything.
the other.
And she has that same... Dad had this thing, he could put something on his tongue and he could tell you what the ingredients are when it comes to food.
Same
Gehenna's
with sister.
the same.
Oof, that's scary.
She is. She made me invent the Achari Frankie, which is going to be launched.
Ooh, I want to try the Achari Frankie. Let's take a quick break because we have lots more to talk about. God, man, I wish I could own some equity in Frankie.
Oh, yeah.
But I got to tell you, I'm not joking. We really love the product. So that's something that, you're really blessed with. We're taking a quick break. We'll come back.
What's the best new restaurant in town?
Which bar sucked?
What's the worst new Hindi film?
What's the most obscure thing to do on the weekend?
And what's the most interesting new walking tour?
If you want to know how to make the most of Bombay, listen to the podcast by thedailypow.com. We are Pranati,
Amit,
And Purva.
We're your guide to what to do, see, and eat in the city. You can find new episodes of the podcast every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer, and on thedailypow.com.
All right, back here, finding out so much about Jasmit and Harmeet.
Yeah.
And interesting to know, two states theory is true. Yes, a product of two. But here's a question. So then what happens in the kitchen at home? Because now South Indian, North Indian sort of kitchen is absolutely pulls apart.
I can sort of see that happening because growing up you have that full-on tandoori chicken and dal and naan in one house, and on the other house you've got these nice dosa and uppams and idlis growing up. So it's kind of interesting because you got the best of both worlds. So I'd say it's like.
But is it veg or non-veg kitchen?
Oh, it's both.
So then it's non-veg.
No, my in-laws.
This is a big issue.
They're thorough non-vegetarians.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they are.
They're thorough non-vegetarians.
Like my maternal grandfather, when he was alive, was like the best chef when it came to making mutton or fish or chicken. It was like, still the best.
So from both sides, you've got food genes, that means.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the Frankie side.
Once Dad accepted Preeti is my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the in-laws came over and they said, North Indians, you guys have too much of fanfare and so we are very simple.
Where did all this stereotype and prejudice stop? Hundreds of years have passed the same stories.
My father turned around and said, listen, we are in 2000, we are in 1995. Yeah. He said, we don't want anything. We don't work like that. I mean, we are against it because I have 4 sisters of my own. Yeah. So he was very clear. The reason why I like your family, you guys love food.
Oh, yeah.
That was it. My wedding was all about food.
Oh, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah, the gifts exchange of food.
But what would you serve, Frankie?
We did.
Yeah?
There was one party, totally Frankie's.
Amazing. Man. Well, your birthday parties must have been very popular, Harmeet, growing up.
Oh, yeah. I think it's quite common for like people coming up and be like, Mera Frankie treat ab tak baki hai. So I'm still trying to figure that out. So I think I'm going to take that suggestion. I think my next birthday party, whenever I hold it, I should just keep it like a Frankie party.
Yeah, but I people feel entitled if they're your classmate or friend or whatever to get free Frankies, I suppose.
Of course, then why not?
Headache, coming back home and expecting you to serve them Frankies at any point of the time.
Well, that's where the hospitality comes in.
Do you give discounts to friends and family?
It depends. Once it's the friend and then you've got the businessman.
He's a professional man. He wouldn't give me a discount.
I think so. I think it should start there. Now let's talk about you in Amsterdam. So you were shipped off to Holland for a catering experience. A little different from the other catering, which I know vaguely, so I can understand what Kadel Road romances were like for him growing up. But what about you? What's it like?
Oh, well, it's nice. Since the thing is that I am both into like food and business. I wanted to do both. So it was sort of nice. And it's a beautiful city, beautiful place, nice people, tall people, as compared to Mumbai. So hopefully they get.
Language of instruction is English?
It's in English, but you have to pick up Dutch.
So do you speak any Dutch? Describe all the flavors of Frankie in Dutch. Come on. Dutch is the language?
If I had to make like a Dutch Frankie flavor, basically it has to be like boiled vegetables and like some.
Have you tried it on the Europeans? Have you tried?
Oh yeah, so it's like in my dorm rooms. I think it was very popular. Is that when I used to go and get like marinated. I never liked those pre-marinated stuff. I like to make my own marinades. So I'd go get chicken, ask that to ship me tandoori masala.
So he's the cook himself, huh?
He has the genes.
Experiment. He's got the genes.
Oh yeah, and Dad would like send me like 12 boxes of tandoori masala from Mumbai. Like
and the Frankie masala.
Yeah, once every 6 months. And then I would just like start like inventing it in my dorm room, and then from there on it just like.
Let's tell the truth about this, na yaar. If you're an Indian abroad, after 3 months you need your masalas.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how much ketchup can you put here? How much mayonnaise?
Well, if you cater to these corporates. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Some of the expats are there, and initially when I used to first start catering to them, I used to wonder, would they like it? But trust me, I mean, if I have to be a little slang, the Goras like it more than the Indians abroad.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they love it. Especially because I think they're still getting used to trying more tangy stuff. So when Frankie, you've got some tartness and you've got like some nice sweet and sour. So they really seem to like it a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So you experiment in the school. You're experimenting in your own whatever kitchen or whatever you can, and you're trying it on different cultures. I'm presuming.
Yeah, trying on different cultures and different women.
Yeah, why not? So Frankie ka kuch double meaning nahi hai usme. Just be very careful. Let's show some respect here.
Well, works out.
Yeah. So no, I just want to know. Do you think the palate of the foreigner? I won't use the word gora. I think that's a very wrong word, but let's use it anyway. Yeah. So, do they like the masala? Do they?
Yeah, they do. Like the thing is, like for them, Indian food does not extend currently beyond tandoori chicken and naan. So when they try like these different things, they usually seem to like it. Like for some strange reason, they just can't get enough of it.
The concept is Western because it saves you time.
Yeah.
You got your carb and your meat together in one thing, which is very, their sandwich, their burger, everything is like that for them. It's just one thing in your hand and they finish it fast.
Oh, of course. And they're just a bit more health conscious, I would say. But
in terms of Indian food, it's pretty healthy compared to all the other food that's available.
Oh, it is.
I mean, I always say it's a complete meal because in a meal you got to have carbs, fats, proteins. Everything is there.
Have you ever thought of having like a larger, like a, what is the word, submarine, subway, one jumbo?
We did that a couple of places, but then it gets too much to eat.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
but as an option?
As an option, we're looking at it. But then what happens, people go into sharing. I see then there's a lot of sauce which comes out and it gets a little messy. Yeah. You don't want to do that.
Can I confess to what I do? I used to do as a child. Now I don't do it in front of my kids. I suck on that plastic.
The elastic part.
I can't stop
Everybody
doing
does
that.
Everyone loves that.
Okay, no one's watching. I just put my mouth inside and I suck on that juice like it's a friggin' mango. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's one of my confessions now. I'm coming clean here.
That is sheer decadence, sir. That's what we do.
It's the best part of the Frankie. I finish it and then I suck that liquid dry.
Cyrus, I'm trying to develop a packing just so that the decadence doesn't go out.
That's superb, man. I'm just thinking about it.
Just like a cornetto, that last nip part is like the best. Yeah. It's like the same thing with a Frankie. That last masala juice that you get in the end is like...
It's fantastic. It's like you work hard for that and then you have that and that's exactly that. It's you're saving the best for last sort of feeling. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk about the future business. It's survived so many years. It's thriving. And like you said, you've got a difficult point here, which is you don't want to change anything, right? Because that's the whole key.
Well, let me elaborate on that. I don't change the basics, but I do customize to the local palate. Like in Chennai, we've got a Chettinad Frankie. In Delhi, we've got a Bhuna Gosht Frankie. In the chicken tikka Frankie, which is made in Hyderabad, is very different.
In Bihar, a non-alcohol Frankie.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have
been very clear about that.
We have nothing in Bihar yet.
Yes. don't say that. It's a big market.
Well, I haven't
lovely
nothing
people.
Yet.
Lovely people.
Yeah, they're lovely, but I don't have anything yet.
Why not? They're missing out on all this. The government should step in. It should force Frankie down everybody's. Everybody should have one crack at Frankie. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think people who miss out on Frankie, I feel really bad. It's almost like tandoori chicken. How can you not eat it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's a good experience when you fly down and when you meet those people and they didn't know what.
You must be getting a lot of people like me now who, when they find out who you are, get really excited and happy.
Cyrus, you don't know that I get, like, when I'm doing international travels, I get invited to people's home because in the lounge, sometimes people meet me and they see the surname.
Yeah.
And it's really nice.
You should do a contest, because I'm telling you, people can think of nostalgia and Frankie growing up because they'll all have stories from their family as young kids, from teenagers with the boys, girls, whatever, romances, post that, then with your children. I mean, it's almost like a member of the family after some time.
When I launched my Shivaji Park outlet, that was my first project.
That I never get. It's always finished.
Yeah.
Those kids come and they kill it in 20 minutes. We try because we shoot nearby. Yeah. But we can never get it. We have to keep somebody there from 10 in the morning. Waiting for it to open.
I'm not allowed to go there on a weekend.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's impossible to grab something.
So I need to tell you this just to make nostalgia. And sorry, it might get a little serious for a second. When my dad was passing away, we had 300 odd bouquets for him to get well soon from people we've never met.
Wow.
And they were all kept around Shivaji Park.
Excellent. See how food can bring people together.
So
tell the politicians, now that you need to make good food and you see how this country will come together.
Did.
Yeah.
That's what Mr. Jasmit Tibb, who invented Frankie's.
I think my hat's off to him. I think honestly
he was a genius, man.
Genius, and this product should be given much more due, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
as in honors, because you can't just do a radio show or a podcast and you bring it all out. There's so much attached.
But trust me, we feel really blessed because we get so much intangible love.
Yeah, true.
We get that, and really that makes me work harder.
I'm telling you, I'll get thousands of people to write one story about Frankie. Everyone will have one special story. They sit and think about it, they'll give you some story. Monsoon rains, you're sitting there and eating your Frankie with your pals or whatever, but there'll be a story.
The most touching story of my life, if you want to hear,
was, please.
I got a call at 10:30 one night from one of my area managers, and he said, "Sir, there's a gentleman who wants to speak to you. He's a lawyer." So I was wondering. I said, "Why does a lawyer want to speak to me?" I said, "Okay, give me So they transferred the phone on my line. And that gentleman, sir, this is an emergency situation and stuff like that. I said, listen, calm down. What happened? Did you have a bad day or something like that? Do you want my help in whichever way? He said, no, we're expecting a baby and she's in the 8th month and she's had a Frankie. She wants Frankies. So I said, it's 10:30 in the night and we shut down by 9:30. He said, sir, can you manage? So I said, and then the lady in that pain, she said, can I please have my Frankie? And she said it so loud. So I could feel that passion and that love, Can you believe it? She was in South Bombay. So we reopened our Scandal Point outlet, Reach Candy outlet, and we made Frankies and we sent it over. And the most touching part was he called me at 1 o'clock, and a week after that she delivered, and they wanted me to name the child.
What do you name?
Well, it was whatever.
We leave it. Personal.
Yeah, leave it.
What a fantastic story.
Yeah, so
wow.
That's what we've earned here. That's what we earned.
Yeah. You can't. This is all intangible.
So when they asked me, they said, Mr. Tibb, what's your net worth? I said, all the people who have a Frankie every day. That's my wealth.
We are all equity holders.
They're all
Frankie.
equity holders.
All of us. Generations, not one.
Can you believe the slogan which still says, I love Frankie, so will you?
It's still there?
It's still there.
I remember that slogan. You've not tampered with the slogan?
No way.
Your ad company must be getting very upset. Yaar, mere ko kuch kaam de do. The guy who's son of in the ad agency is still on the
They've all been made chefs.
Or delivery boys. The one thing you need more of is delivery boys.
Yeah, that's right.
And in Regal you deliver. So you started delivering, which is a great idea. We are a lazy country, let's face it.
Yeah. Now
those days of standing in the stall is going and people want everything home.
You see, that's where
he comes in?
That's where he comes. He's handling the social media.
So tell us the future plan, social media, how are you going to join the rest of the world, take this great product, which is standing the test of time. You don't have to worry about that.
Of course. And the thing with Frankie's is like, it's such a thing that once you try it, you really love it. But as much as people are evolving and they want things home, I still feel the good authenticity is when you go to that outlet and you actually see them making it on the tawa.
You need that time, no?
Yeah, and you need that aromas to sort of like when they put on the tawa and you put that mutton gravy and you can smell all that.
Not just the word taza, but I think if you don't eat anything within the first 5-7 minutes, you lose maybe 10-15% in the delivery. But that's any food, no?
Yeah, but I still think that authenticity is something that I really want to still keep.
That's why when I met my wife, I said, let's consummate the love immediately. But she wanted to wait 3-4 days.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that passion after that.
Yeah, so
don't answer this question. You're too young. You just stick to your Frankie.
Exactly.
Your dad and I will discuss these issues.
Of course.
Yeah. No, looking into the future now, and you've been sent to Holland. You've been joking about all this. But what are the plans now? So, why shouldn't this be a global product? It's good enough.
Yeah. So currently, Frankie's is planning to go on full global. So we're also in Dubai, and we have plans to expand later. So hopefully that's where I come in. So I think that's done a fantastic job with handling and putting the basis. And so I think me and hopefully my sister as well.
And he's not answered one big question though, cutting back to the past actually, which is a very strong Parsi connections in your life.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Which not just one is the school. 2 is your dad actually started outside Khushrubagh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And his first customer, most of his customers have been Parsis initially.
Yes.
Then when he started in Dubai, the first customer...
No, not he. I started.
When you started in Dubai, the first customer... Oh, that's karma.
That's karma.
So he started in Mumbai, in South Mumbai. You started in the Gulf. Yeah. And again, small community. There are more Frankies than Parsis, you know that.
Well, let me tell you now, with Vaiguru's blessings and my father's blessings, Frankie is soon going to UK.
Wow. So they threw out Europe, but they've kept the Frankies. See the philosophy of the country.
So
I think it'll suit the European palate. I don't know.
I've been there last 6 months, now we have people there. We have somebody from the Bombay Store company. They own the Bombay Store, the Dalal family.
Right.
We have one, Mr. Arvind Sonu Ahuja. He's my friend of mine. He's part of it. Mr. Urvil Jani, he's part of it. So we 4 friends got together and we said, okay, we're going to take it across. So Satyan Dalal is the person who initiated it, and then Sonu Ahuja joined him, and then Urvil joined him. And we're taking it to UK now, and we're just waiting for the licenses to come in.
You know where it would have been a big success? Unfortunately, because of the bloody issues we have in politics, Pakistan. I'm telling you, in Pakistan, it would have been a huge hit.
So a lot of my people in Dubai are from that country.
Yeah.
But if things ever get better, you should push it into Pakistan. I think it'll get they'll love it.
And honestly, I think we also have our roots coming from that place originally.
Yeah. Everybody really is the refugees from there. So.
Correct.
So,
I like that. So the whole world is ours. I'll show you how. Just give me 5 minutes and a map. Yeah, I'll show you everything. Everything is ours. No, but this is a good point because I really think that Frankie, as we wind up this interview, has brought people together, generations together, cultures together, communities. You got married to somebody from the other part of India.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all this.
Yeah, I'm sure she said
somewhere
yes to
the Frankie is playing
I'm
a
sure
role.
she said yes to the Frankie, not me.
Did she like Frankies?
She loved it.
No, when you were dating, when you were.
That's how I proposed to her.
Oh, is it? No, but did she like the Frankies?
Yes, she did.
By choice, she would be like, let's go and eat a Frankie.
Yes.
Or you were said, daddy ka hai, to paisa nahi hai aaj to. Let's try Frankie. You should have never mentioned you owned it. She'll think you're spending a lot of money.
Not for the first 3
No?
dates, no.
Huh? Fantastic.
Exactly.
Does
I
your
would have
wife
to spend more then.
does your wife play an active role now in this whole business?
She did a couple of years ago. I had launched a big store in Lokanwala, so she used to handle that. She's a fantastic administrator.
Okay, so it's your daughter who's going to carry the mantle of the chef.
Yeah.
He's going to be the marketing
He's
head.
the admin guy.
He's the admin guy.
and-
At the moment, he seems to have a lot of other things on his plate back in Amsterdam. Hard life there, isn't it? All that partying and stuff.
Of course, it gets tiring.
Yeah.
Well, you can't reveal everything, can you?
Yeah, it's time of his life.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
I like it.
Daddy's jealous. He wants to go back to college.
Well, I actually want to.
Yeah,
I actually want to.
you can do apparently refresher courses.
There is a course in his college which is for.
What would be more embarrassing for him than to have his father?
No, then
sitting
he would
around?
be here on summer vacation.
Oh, yeah.
I would
that
never
plans
want
it
my
out.
son there. when
Because
I'm
somebody got to man the Frankie.
Exactly.
Listen, guys, it's been great talking to you. A slice of nostalgia, but what a product. Again, I say, what a product. Well done. Thank you so much for serving India. Not just Mumbai or Powai or South Bombay or Colaba, but the whole country and more.
Yes.
And I'm sure the next generation is going to take it even further.
Well, as long as we have people like you who love it, of course.
Now, having said that, will I get my 10% for life? Discount or not?
Yeah, it's done, man.
Pao
done.
paro, chamcha, chelagiri, karo. I mean, what more to do now?
Cyrus, can you just pass a message to all your fans?
Yes.
I want them to be very careful when they have the duplicate ones.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a quick minute before we wind up.
Because I think that's something which is...
How do you stop those guys? Every time you see the wrong spelling, and I see them in small areas in Mumbai,
So just
where
tell
you
them
can't waste your time fighting them, they're too small.
We have a very strong legal team who does that, but they just spring up everywhere.
Yeah.
So I just want the people to know what is the authentic Tips Frankie. Look at the website. Whenever they go to have something which is
Taste
like
it once and you know the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Forget the packaging, the taste will tell you immediately.
Exactly. So just be very careful in what you all have.
Because the secret ingredient, just like Coca-Cola, is only with you.
Yes, and my brother.
Yeah. And cannot go to anybody else.
Yes.
Unless, of course, they're willing to negotiate a very good price, but we'll talk about
Still
that. No. No, it is. Frankie forever.
Exactly.
All right, guys, thank you. Harmeet, Jasmit, thank you so much.
It's our
and
pleasure.
we'll continue eating, so we'll be in touch in a sense.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, before we go, we have this thing called the AMA, where people come and ask us questions, so they'll just take a couple of minutes. That may not be about food. That's about general life. Good fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Chalo.
Hi, I'm May, and I'm a huge fan of the indie music scene in our country. A scene that's relatively underground, even though it sometimes speaks its head overground. But there's no shortage of talent, and I get the privilege of interviewing some of the most awesome musicians on my show. I've had the likes of Euphoria, Krish Kale, Hardcore, Randolph Correa. I've had singer-songwriters, folk singers, electronic music producers, playback singers, rappers, fusion artists, instrumentalists, classical musicians, and so on. Whether mainstream or not, these people have chosen to release their original music, and these are the people currently shaping the direction in which our music scene is heading. Join me on my show every Monday and tune in to discover the unique talent coming out of India today. You can catch Made in India on your favorite podcasting app or our very own IVM podcast app. If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
We welcome May to our wonderful ballad that's going on here, Frankie lovers. Are you a Frankie lover?
I like Frankie.
Not like. No, you have to have passion.
I love. I
Do
have
it again.
passion.
See how much you love Frankie.
I like Frankies. I love Frankies.
Not Frankie
Frankies are
D'Souza,
awesome.
Frankie, huh?
Frankie
Yeah,
D'Souza?
Frankie.
Who's Frankie?
Just
another
don't
guy
answer
I
the
don't
question.
know. I wish.
But are you a real Frankie? Because
I don't think I'm as hardcore a fan as you think I am.
Yeah.
I do like Frankies. They're great. They're awesome. But interestingly, just earlier you're having a conversation about how you're diversifying your menu from not just Frankies, but much more.
Yes.
That's quite cool.
With every Frankie, you get one young girl now. This is ridiculous.
Who's that?
This advertising campaign is unbelievable.
Wow, this is
Just for the
incredible.
record, this has nothing to do with the Tibb family.
This was impersonators in Malad. Terrible guys. Yeah.
They're impersonators in Malad?
See, that's the way you know a product is super successful.
That's true.
The only two products that I have seen really that have competitors all the time which are fake. One is Frankie and one is McDonald's. When McDonald's is spelled wrong, like MAKDONALD, and this Frankie is also spelled wrong. By the way, it's spelled with Y and all that.
No, there's
Then
a new. I saw a very crazy one where the guy had written Frank and he added a key there.
Oh, he added a key.
What?
See, this is
That's
creative genius.
really creative, yeah.
So I bought him over.
You bought him over.
You did?
He now works for you.
I'm going to put him.
Pehla Pathshala pe jao.
His
Spelling.
job is only to handle creatives now.
Yeah,
Exactly,
super.
why not?
Why not?
Really bought him over.
Yeah.
Just really.
Yeah.
You're
Excellent.
a smart
I picked him up.
guy.
Super.
That's so
He
cool.
must be so excited because he must have been your fan. The first thing is he's
Yes,
your fan,
yeah,
deep
he
down.
was,
Yeah, of course. That's kind of cool.
He was only 19. at that time.
What?
Enterprising boy, terrible cook,
Very.
but enterprising boy.
Oh, yeah. Leave the creatives.
That's really cool.
Hey,
Okay, so
hear me.
I've got a question directed at you, actually, Jasmeet. Which Indian city do you think has the best food culture?
Best food culture, I would say Delhi.
Really?
I would also say Delhi.
I've not.
For
so-
non-veg? For non-veg. I'm not sure about veg.
I'm
but
a
for
non-veg,
definitely.
so
I think
I actually don't
the
know.
options available there. See,
Just
maybe
the-
I'm a little
The
biased.
mutton
because-
tastes better and all. Come on, let's be honest.
No, the mutton
See, I
tastes
don't-
best. The best food tasting is Amritsar. Because of
Really?
the water.
I've not been to Amritsar. I've been
You
to
should
all over
go. You
Punjab.
should-
but
The
not
water
Amritsar.
there. You have
You
anything
think?
in Amritsar, and I mean, again, I'm not biased because I'm a Sikh, but in Amritsar you have food and you have the water. You don't have mineral water there. You just have Amritsar water. You'll never get acidity.
See how we suffered in Mumbai? Nobody talks about this.
That's
They want me to
fascinating.
pay
I
tax,
didn't
but I
know.
don't get this kind of food.
I want to go. Can I go to Amritsar with you? Will you
Yeah,
take
but
me?
I've got one of their products down. It's called
Which is?
Which I'm starting a new brand called Kulcha Paji, which is Amritsar
kulchas I
Chole
love.
Kulche. So that's down as well.
What's chola? I'm sorry.
You have
What's
kulcha.
chola?
It's a, how do you,
It's
like
an
a paratha
Indianized
only.
bread. I don't know.
It's like a.
It's a roti.
Like, oh, it's like a roti.
But
I
it's
wanna
very,
have-
very...
I want to go to Jasmeet. Go to Jasmeet. Go to Amritsar with
Listen,
Jasmeet.
Jasmit is happily married. The son is sitting here.
Wow, I'm finding this so difficult. So many men, so little time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
That's
I
why
was
I'm
in love
single.
with the Frankie. You're in love with the Frankie family. That's a different concept.
Blushing. So yeah, that's really. But see, I don't know much about Delhi food culture because I've never actually been to Delhi. Like once for a very large Punjabi wedding, and that was crazy. But is
Old
it
Delhi
really
is
that better
Delhi
than
has all
Bombay?
kinds of places to eat, and I mean, it's another world altogether. Much more variety, yeah, much more than
Than
us.
Bombay,
And there are
you'd
no gimmicks
say?
about the food there. You get authentic food there. People,
The milk is better. I promise you, in the north, there's no doubt about that. The
The
taste of
milk is
milk,
better.
once you go north, is much from Rajasthan upwards. Everything tastes better. That's the way it is. What can you do?
Wow.
It just tastes
Great.
nice.
So what about South India? I love the fact that South India is completely ignored here.
South India, I think, I don't know, he'll know better than me all this, but Tamil Nadu, the food is fantastic. And there are a lot of non-vegetarian food people don't know about in that area.
I think it's in a little way a Pandora's box. I mean, there's so much there to explore.
Yeah.
There's so much there to explore. You can't. Like when we launched Kerala.
Oh yes.
Yes. we
Here, my
launched-
motherland.
Yes. We launched in
How do you
Calicut.
pronounce Frankie in Malayalam?
Frankie.
Frankie, is it?
Frankie.
Frankie goes to Kerala.
I don't know. In Calicut also, I was saying, "Oh, yaar, Frankie khale."
You better keep your Punjabi
Yeah,
thing because
Punjabi
that's the
stuff.
You
law.
gotta.
You can't suddenly switch. Just
So,
be like, we don't want
so
to.
I did a 9-hour road trip to understand the flavors before we launched.
You got lost,
Are you
basically.
serious? Are you serious?
Yes, 9
9
hours. 9
hours.
hours.
Hence we have
From
GPS.
Calicut all the way
This
to
country
Chennai.
is so sophisticated
Random.
with palettes, you can't, it's not, I think we're the most sophisticated culture. So you have to be very careful, masala upon masala, layer upon layer.
That's true.
But again, I'm a big fan, so
What
I
do you
think they can't go
find
wrong.
different about the Kerala palette?
North Kerala is very different from South.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So that's where the
I'm from mid Kerala. I'm from
North
like
Kerala
the
is
Christian
the-
district.
North Kerala is where all the non-veg is, no? The
Yes.
Muslim Christian
Yeah.
population.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Christian's like mid. That's Kottayam, and I'm from Tiruvalla. It's all like the middle belt. Alapi, Kottayam, Changnasheri, all that.
the great thing is the outlets have about 10, 15, 20 now in some places. Options. So I'm sure it'll be able to cater to a few.
Oh, yeah.
Me, I'm an old-fashioned classicist Frankie lover. I want my mutton Frankie.
Oh, same
Will
here.
you do like Syrian beef Frankie? Would you
Love
ever
it.
do
I
that?
love mutton.
You can't go with the old
No,
classic.
of
Now we have
course.
two different conversations. This is what the
That's my
podcast is
department.
doing to the world at the moment.
I asked him if he'd do Syrian beef Frankie. He's like, no.
What is Syrian beef Frankie?
Like Kerala beef. Like
Okay, but I
it's-
don't have to go to Syria, no?
No.
Because no food is worth that.
Okay, what do you think about fitness addicts who cannot eat like really delicious
Actually,
food?
Jasmit has brought that up and I shot it down.
What is that?
Now, this is the world we live in. So
I want to know what is fitness?
What is
well,
fitness?
people will say, my son has gone berserk about all this, so he's very careful about what he eats. So
See,
इसमें oil है, इसमें तेल है,
a lot
इसमें...
of people have protein shakes. And
Yeah.
a lot of people have
Right.
food which they hear from people. You know,
So, I mean, I'm
let
just
me
saying,
get
like-
what I'm going.
I'm
let,
just
let
saying
me
in
get
the
to
sense
what
of
I'm
like,
getting at.
if you're cutting certain things out of your regular diet because you feel like this is going to like make me put
you know,
on weight.
I used to represent Maharashtra in shot put, and I was number 2 in India in shot put.
Oh my god,
So
that's amazing.
that's when I was 20, 21, and
Yeah.
What is amazing? You're throwing a big fat ball at people.
yes,
It's not funny.
yes.
That's you every day.
I'm glad you noticed, sweetie.
So even when occasionally I work out now, I never have protein shakes. I just take. We've developed a new flavor which is with whole wheat. It's got chicken tikka and it's got or paneer for option for vegetarian. It's
Okay.
got salad.
So more protein, less fat.
Yes, more
So
protein.
this is a good bodybuilding food.
Well, it's a natural. You don't need to have any.
That's
high
another thing.
protein.
If
I'm
you're into
actually
weight
curious.
training-
What is your exercise regime, Jasmit?
Not too much now, but
He has to count the money, yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. I want to know. I'm curious.
It's all banking now. So it's gonna count.
He was a short put athlete. Now he's more short than put.
No, but really, what do you do now?
I go to my central kitchen every day, so that's a good workout.
Really?
Yeah, I still pick up anything which I would want to cook.
But
Sometimes
just be
that's
jokes
fine.
apart now, there'll be enough people in the world who want to look at who always look at the back of the product. You know, my son is doing this even in Munich, in German, and struggling with it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because you get into that, once
How
you get that
old
mindset.
is your son?
13. There's a new generation. I don't know if Jasmit did that, but it's a new generation. And they're very careful about that. So this does become an issue because they're always checking and always double checking and Googling and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Isme kya hai? Is it the right mix that I want for my body? So,
But let
so
me
you
tell
have an
I'll
answer
just
for
tell
that.
you about an incident which I had in UK recently where we were doing food trials. We were about to launch in UK in November, I think.
Oh,
So,
where?
in Ludgate, which is in St. Paul's.
Pretend you know. I do it very well. Hanji.
Hey, I was in the UK for 6
Twice,
years.
St. Paul's.
So I
Yeah,
was
it's
like-
next to St. Peter's. Am I right? Good.
Exactly.
All the way from Panchgiri.
He's more Baba than Sikh. I couldn't tell you. Be careful, yeah.
So we had the trials there. So we did the regular ones, the authentic ones, the 5-7 of them.
Okay.
And then we did the so-called with the nutritionals and everything else. So we had the ratings, right? We got a 7 on 10 on the newer ones. And we got a 9.5 on 10 on the original ones.
There you go.
Wow.
And the people who tried were from the age of 18 to 42.
I go back to that old Coca-Cola story.
Which is?
They messed the formula after 100 years, tried a new formula, went down the tube in 2 minutes, went back to the old formula, came back to number 1.
Exactly. Crystal Pepsi, best example.
You get a winner once in a lifetime sometimes. You know,
They
you
mess-
just take
I
your
didn't even
winner.
know they mess with the formula. When did that
See, Rajesh
happen?
Pilot told us a very nice story. I'll quickly end with that.
course.
You know, where he comes from a Rajasthani family, which basically, they were in charge of milk. They were the milk providers in the thing, you know, they were high up in the community. And when his grandfather died, he became the next guy in line. So he thought 60-40% doctoring was happening. 60% water, 40% milk. He said, when I become the boss, I'm not going to do this. I'm giving them 100% milk. So he gave them 100% milk. The next day, diarrhea. And they burned down the house, the villagers. So he said he learned his first lesson about politics. If it's working, don't mess with it.
Don't mess with the
I just said
formula.
never reinvent the wheel.
Never reinvent the
Never,
wheel.
yeah.
Exactly.
And that is why I don't change
Fascinating.
underwear, Jasmit. The same lucky pair from 1992.
Keep it going.
Is it older than him?
It's an underwear with holes now, I can tell you that. All right, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Jasmit, Harmeet, and more power to Tibbs and Frankie.
Yeah.
And please,
Yes.
eat all the flavors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks, Cyrus. Thanks, Cyrus, for having us here.
All right, cheers. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called me.
And that's what Cyrus says.
And presenting the IVM Likes, where the IVM staff sit down, hold hands and meditate. Then remove their clothes and discuss pop culture, things they like and dislike. All this because life is important, especially when you're lonely. Check out new episodes on our IVM podcast apps. Happy listening, and fathers.
एक्सक्यूज मी भैया, एक्सक्यूज मी।
बोलिए मैडम।
मेन्यू में क्या है?
मेन्यू में सीन अनसीन है, पॉडकास्ट है, ऑन कोर्स है, साइरस है, मेड इन इंडिया, रीडिस्कवरी प्रोजेक्ट, एम्पावरिंग सीरीज, सेक्स वेक्स है, IVM लाइक्स है, सिंप्लीफाइड है, कीपिंग इट क्वियर है, थिंग्स एंड डेस्टिनेशंस है, माय नेबर सकरबर्ग है और द फैन गराज है। आपको क्या चाहिए?
एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे क्या?
रिपीट नहीं करता हम, आप जाओ IVMpodcast.com पे और सुनो ये सब, या फिर डाउनलोड करो उनका ऐप, सब आपकी उंगलियों पे।